Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Formula GT round number 7 here at Fuji Speedway. A very historic track with a lot of history behind it, obviously. Several different racing series have raced here in the past. Most notably and most recent is the endurance race that happened here in the World Endurance Championship, the 8 Hours of Fuji. Very high speed track, very similar to the last round we did in Monza. And honestly, I am looking forward to this race here today. So just to give you guys a little bit of extra detail about this track, it is 4.57 kilometers long, or 2.84 miles, 16 corners with a mid-speed BOP applied to the car. So we are going to have a pretty good balance. I was fortunate enough to actually watch in on some of the practice from some of the drivers earlier on in the week practicing this track, and honestly I think we have a really competitive race here on our hands. Things are really tight in the score standings right now, with the top 3 drivers in this championship divided by a singular point. Second and third place, Whiteout and Viper, are tied, with Gomez only being 1 point ahead, the current championship leader. So we're just going to wait for the drivers to get here on track, and then we are going to go ahead and get on track with practice. So practice, for those of you who might be new, it is from 12:30 to 1300, and then we have a 10-minute qualifying session, a 5-minute break in between so drivers can go ahead and get a snack, get some water, get their beverage of choice, Red Bull, Monster, Stubby, insert drink here. And then yeah, we're going to go ahead and get live with the race. 30 laps around Fuji. You can expect a lot of high speed overtakes on the start-finish straight, because that is going to be... it's probably the longest straight that we have on this current calendar of Formula GT. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and just get started once we get some drivers in the lobby. While we wait on that, I'm actually going to pull up the driver standings on my end and then just kind of read them off to you guys, just to give you guys some more extra context. We do have one driver loading in at the moment, so we'll be on track with them shortly. And it is Matt from Scuderia Racing Force. Now his teammate Fernando Gomez is currently the leader in this championship on the driver's side. Current drivers championship leader, and it's just been through pure consistency that he's been in that top spot. But with the top standing being as close to as it is, it's gonna take an absolute stellar drive from Fernando Gomez to actually keep that championship lead. Fernando Gomez has 123 points, with Whiteout and Viper tied for second and third with 122. So with 3 rounds left to go in the series, we got a really close race on our hands, as Matt is the first car on track. J-Mac is here too. J-Mac is back after a few rounds absence, racing on behalf of the IHR team. Whiteout was in the lobby, but he disconnected. Hopefully we'll get him back before the lobby, or before we get started with qualifying. 2 cars here on track just chilling in the pit lane. And we'll take a look at the team's championship as well. Exo High Caliber taking the championship lead after the last race in Monza with 220 points. They overtake the former leaders, Deadeye Racing, who have 209, followed by Scuderia Racing Force with 146. We have Fernando Gomez in the lobby as well. Heard of a slight connection issue with Gomez, but he is here now, so that has been fixed, at least for the time being, and we hope it stays that way. And we got some cars on tracks. I say tracks as in plural, but it's one track. J-Mac is going to be the first car on track for IHR. He hasn't raced in this series in a little bit. It's been a few rounds since we've last seen J-Mac, an absolute superstar from the preseason of Formula GT, now back racing on behalf of IHR once again. Currently sitting in P11 in the championship with 34 points, just 2 points behind Project Zero's Yuki. So he can actually jump up into the top 10 in the standings here today if all goes well. One of the reserve drivers for the IHR squad. And we'll see what he can do. He's the first car out on track and first car about to set a representative lap. Gomez is also on track. He's going to go do his out lap and then we'll have a representative lap from him. And the first flying lap is on. Now, this track has a lot of high-speed corners, but also a few tricky low-speed corners towards Sector 3. So you can get it all wrong if you just send it too hot. And there's Venomous Venom, the rookie from last race in Monza, racing for Deadeye Racing, the driver all but confirmed to be racing for Karma GT next season, a new team to the sport. He had a very solid drive last time out. We'll see if he can keep up that form today. And Gomez right now, the current championship leader. Gomez is consistent, and his consistency is what put him in the lead for the championship at this current stage with 3 rounds left to go. But it's far from over. As I mentioned earlier, Whiteout and Viper are both 1 point behind Gomez. So if Gomez wants to keep that championship lead, he's going to have to outperform Whiteout. And honestly, if he wants to lock in that championship, he's going to have to do it substantially. And people have been viewing Formula GT for a while, or those who have seen Whiteout in other racing series like GPL's Super GT 500 series as of late. We know Whiteout is a very rapid driver. So beating Whiteout for the championship is much easier said than done. Whiteout and Viper are the only 2 drivers to have won a race here in Formula GT in Season 8. So it is going to be a very tight championship, and it's going to go down to the last race at Interlagos. As we go to Whiteout on track in the EXO High Caliber Racing Machine, the current Constructors Championship leaders. J-Mac has the fastest time of the session right now with a 1:24.745. And we'll see. Gomez did not set a representative lap as he's just going to fuel up to the max before getting back out on track. His teammate Matt is making his rounds. He's about to set his, or he's setting an out lap at the moment. Whiteout is on a flyer. We'll see where Whiteout stands as Gomez fills up to the maximum fuel capacity just to get the most that he can on as a heavy fuel load. Whiteout is currently 5/10 faster. Oh, but he oh, never mind. That was just my eyes playing tricks on me. I thought he went wide there for a second. But this is Whiteout we're talking about. We know that he is very consistent and rarely makes a mistake. He is pushing the track limits to their edge. Gets a little bit into the grass there. Now we do know that this track can be a bit picky when it comes to track limits. So we will have to see. He's currently 9/10 faster. He's not picked up a penalty yet. And I don't think he will unless that might have done it. This track is one of the easier tracks to pick up a penalty on. So we'll just have to keep an eye on how many penalties are given throughout the day. Whiteout does get a little square there on the exit of the corner coming up to the last turn, turn 16. And he's just going to make a run up to the start-finish straight. We'll see what his time is. It's going to be a bit close because I think he did let off a bit, but I think he's going to set a faster time. He does by about 2 seconds, almost 2.5 seconds from J-Mac. C-Chan is here from FR Racing. Now, the rookie from FR Racing that competed last time got a very well-deserved P2 in JW. So that has done wonders for the team in the standings. Yeah, so actually, they are a lot closer to IHR now. IHR with 111 points to FR Racing's 92. So it is going to be a close battle throughout the grid for multiple different team positions. And I mean, JW, 24 points on the opening round, and that's a slide for his teammate, C-Chan. And man, that is, at least you're getting those mistakes out in practice. You definitely don't want to have those when you're in the qualifying or the feature race. So for others who might be new to how Formula GT works, first off, thank you so much for stopping by and tuning in. We hope you do enjoy yourself on the stream here. We have some very talented drivers. And so when it comes to practice, you can use either the soft or medium tire compound. You can honestly use both if you want to get a good solid running on both tire compounds. For qualifying, both tires are allowed as well, but it is more common to see drivers using the soft tire compound, as the soft tire compound gives you more grip at the cost of tire life. So the soft tire is the grippiest tire that we have, and then the mediums are usually more reserved for practice and the race itself. You have to use one of each tire compound. You have to use a set of softs and a set of mediums. Hard tires are not in the league. They are not available. And as we don't use rain conditions, there's no intermediate or wet tires, and these cars can't go in dirt or snow, so those tires are also off the cards, although it would be fun to see one of these things ripping it around Lake Louise or Sardinia windmills, but that's not the case here. We are here at a very good track in Fuji. Honestly, one of my favorite tracks to drive on. That start-finish straight is just so awesome to get some really satisfying overtakes on. Finding that perfect limit between too tight on the throttle, or being too late on the brakes, I apologize, versus braking too soon to get an overtake done. It's going to lead to a lot of drivers feeling really risky around this racetrack, and I'm all here for it. As J-Mac and Matt have a little bit of a battle going on here. Just getting some of that race practice in for the actual race. Matt does go a bit wide, and J-Mac spins it. The IHR machine is into the wall. Now, thankfully, damage does not carry over from one session to another, and J-Mac can actually just go back to the pit, and his car will be repaired. C-Chan is about to go out on a flyer. He's on the outlap now. 5 cars currently on track. I know we have more that have joined the lobby. And right now, this is really a battle between Gomez and Whiteout for the championship lead right now. Although C-Chan does have a very solid lap of the... Actually, I can't see it, but he's about 2 seconds away from Whiteout. So presumably around a 1:23.7, if my math is correct, maybe a 1:23.8. But still good enough for P2 in this current session, with Gomez just over a tenth behind. C-Chan not trying to burn out his tires too much on the outlap before he starts another flyer. Now, times don't necessarily matter when it comes to practice. Your main objective with practice is just to get a feel for the track and just get experience, get warmed up. It is basically a warm-up session, because I know a lot of these drivers will go ahead and host practice sessions outside of Formula GT's official session and run practice there, which is perfectly allowed. So yeah, I know these drivers practice track a lot. Gomez did move up to P2, but only by 100th of a second, just under 200ths of a second. As we continue on with practice, we're about halfway done with practice already. Time flies when you're racing around with some of the fastest drivers in Gran Turismo. And just curious to see how the race goes. Currently have 5 drivers on track. We know Venomous Venom is in the session as well. And right now, the main talking points for this race is going to be that championship battle between Gomez and Whiteout. Now, here's the thing. Let's say if Gomez does win this race, if Whiteout gets P2 and gets a podium or a fastest lap, he's still within that 1 point, or he may only lose like an extra point. So Gomez's lead would only increase by a singular point. So Gomez, to really keep his lead, he has to win this race. Otherwise, Whiteout will jump him in the driver's standings. But alternatively, if Gomez gets P2 with the fastest lap, then I believe, with how the scoring is set up for the season, he might actually be tied with Whiteout this time, going into round number 8 at Watkins Glen. So that is very juicy sounding prospects for the championship. Although it is possible that we might see the team's championship wrapped up here in the next few rounds, depending on how High Caliber does compared to Deadeye Racing, because right now they're the 2 closest teams. I do think that this Drivers' Championship is going to go down to the final race in Interlagos, but I do think that the Teams Championship could get wrapped up sooner, as I believe we had someone else join the track. We are going to go ahead and go back on board with Whiteout as he begins another outlap. C-Chan is on a really good pace today. He is currently sitting P2 in the practice standings, which, granted, we'll have to see how it goes for qualifying. And he closed that gap up by a few tenths to Whiteout there. So, and we know Whiteout is ridiculously fast. Easily one of the fastest drivers in Gran Turismo by a long shot. And now we have some new drivers here. And if you guys are just joining the stream, thank you guys so much. Be sure to drop a follow and check us out on our YouTube channel, where we post the race VODs after every single stream. It includes the practice session, the qualifying, and the full race, if you want to kind of catch up on how the season's been going so far. Now we're seeing more drivers join the lobby. Yuki is on track. I wonder if he'll be racing today for Project Zero, because that would be a good battle between him and J-Mac. They're pretty close in these standings as reserve drivers, so very curious to see if J-Mac can go ahead and pass up Yuki. But last Sunday, Yuki had a stellar drive in GPL's GT500 season, and the season finale. He got a very well-deserved P2. It was an excellent race for Yuki, and if he is racing today, he's definitely going to want to keep that form up coming into Formula GT. As we see some more drivers now on track. We're going to go on board with Venomous Venom. He hasn't been on track yet, so we're going to go on board with the number 24 Deadeye Racing Machine. Oh, we're seeing Gothboy now too. Gothboy has joined the track, one of the Sohei Racing drivers. And Schulte is now here as well. So the drivers are now starting to file in. Oh, Whiteout has a left room. I wonder if that's a disconnect or if something else happened, because we know Gran Turismo can be a bit temperamental when it comes to crashes. As we saw actually last time out of Monza, my game crashed after the first few laps of Monza. Hopefully that doesn't happen to myself or any of the other drivers, or any of the drivers I should say, because I'm not actually driving. And yeah, we know Gran Turismo does have its tech problems from time to time, but hopefully that won't be the case for today. Got a good amount of drivers in here. We've got currently 7. drivers here, but we know more have joined the lobby. Hopefully we can get Whiteout back. As the Exo High Caliber driver. Right now, Venomous Venom is currently about to set his first representative lap, coming through the last 2 corners. He had a pretty stellar run when it came to Monza last time out. Started in P9, made it up to P6 at a very nail-biting final lap for the American driver. We'll see where it goes on the timing charts. And it's a 124, good enough for P3 in the practice session right now. Although granted, that is because Whiteout has left. So if Whiteout was still here, he would be P4, which is still good for somebody only in his second race of Formula GT. As we switch to Yuki's POV. A little bit of a connectivity spike there, we do apologize for that. And these drivers, they're gonna give it everything because there is so much to play for in all of the different standings. So all throughout the grid, the teams of all sorts of positions, there's just a lot to play for. And I mean, ooh, Yuki getting a little sideways, giving us a drifting show in his home track, his de facto home track. Oh, is Sohei? I think Sohei has a slightly modified livery now, getting more with the Exo High Caliber theme. Because, I mean, they are still a part of the Exodus Motorsports umbrella. I guess that's the right term for it. A slightly updated livery for Sohei here today. Yep, and yeah, it's on both cars. So B23 is back racing for Sohei Racing. For a good chunk of the season, he was actually the replacement driver for Illusion in the main squad. Oh, there's a little bit of possible contact between Yuki and B23. They're just having a little bit of fun out there. Doing a little bit of race practice, you know. Getting wheel to wheel a bit. The Saab-powered Sohei racing machine against the Project Zero car. Oh, we had another driver lead the session. So we'll go ahead and, oh, we have 4 cars here on track. Sohei and Project Zero, 2 cars from each team are both going out of here in the final sector of Fuji. And Whiteout has rejoined the room, thankfully. And Venomous Venom actually tops the times right now with a 1:23.4. Whiteout still has the fastest time, but I know some drivers have exited, so the times aren't fully up to scratch. We have about 6.5 minutes until qualifying begins. And man, this is gonna be a spicy one, especially with there being so many implications for this championship up for grabs. Gomez championship leaded by a singular point, with the 2 leaders of the championship, or former leaders of the championship, I should say, only 1 point behind him. This is going to be a very, very spicy race here in Fuji. Can't believe the season's already almost done. It just feels like yesterday that we were starting off in Laguna Seca for preseason. Crazy how fast time flies. What's also crazy is how fast these drivers fly around this track. We have some very rapid drivers. Whiteout looking to reclaim the top of the timing board, even though he still officially has the fastest lap of the session with a 1:21.4. And we know Whiteout is a very solid driver. So undoubtedly, it's going to be between him and Gomez, potentially for pole position. But I think C-Chan's got something to say about it too. As the 2 Project Zero cars go side by side, and the 2 Sohei cars, these cars are stuck together like peanut butter and jelly. A little bit of bumping around, playing some bumper cars. You can't get penalized for a practice session, at least not that I am aware of. So these guys are just having fun at this stage. And you love to see it. You love to see drivers having fun when they're racing. Currently 10 drivers out on track, as Gomez is setting a personal best time. And I wonder what's happening there. Beck's UFO, I do not know what team that driver is a part of. So we'll have to try to get confirmation from somewhere. Qualifying does start in about 5 minutes, so I'll go into the driver's note. It's actually about 4 minutes now. Minutes because it is almost that time that we start qualifying, and this is going to be a spicy one. Personally, even though I hope this is more of a commentator blessing than a commentator curse, or just that the commentator curse just gets negated altogether, but I do think the top 3 for this race is going to be between, let's see if I can find him on track. It's going to be between Whiteout, Gomez, and C-Chan, I think, for those top 3 spots. Because we've seen C-Chan's pace has been extremely rapid here today. How's that the easiest of seasons coming into Formula GT? But today, he just really seems like he's on the pace. This might be a track that just suits his style. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how things go during qualifying. C-Chan currently is P6 in the standings. He lost some spots to B23 last round out. He is a few points away from Flaring Ace, so he could potentially jump up to P6 in this race because Flaring Ace is not going to be around for the rest of the season. We wish him all the best as we about to kick off qualifying. We'll see how everything goes. Thank you for popping in, Roman. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and chill out until we get started here with qualifying. See if any other cars on the track. Yep, there is Gomez currently on top of the charts, but he does not have the official fastest lap. Alright, qualifying in Fuji is about to begin. We have about 2 minutes until we can start qualifying. We do have to hold on ever so slightly because the other high caliber racing driver of Lusion is having a few problems joining the lobby. If that is the case like it was in Monza, we might have to switch hosts once again. We do appreciate your patience. Try to get that situated as soon as humanly possible. We get ever closer to qualifying. We will give it, let's see, we do want to be quicker this time than we were last time. We do want to try to get, we have 12 drivers currently in, or sorry, we have 9 drivers currently in with Matt would be driver number 10 on the grid. He is 10 on the grid. And then we are waiting for Illusion. That would bring us up to 11. So we'll see if we can get him in. Otherwise, we will have to pivot hosts. Alright, so while we wait for Lusion to get into the session, I'm going to ask you guys just a question in chat. Just a very curious question. I know the Manufacturers Cup finals for Gran Turismo is coming up here in the next, I think they race tomorrow officially? I think they either race tomorrow or the day after, one of those. So what manufacturer are you guys rooting for in that championship? I haven't checked on who's actually racing, but I would go with Hyundai or Genesis just because, well, I drive one. So that would be my ideal pick for who would win. So yeah, let's see. Okay, Venomous Venom confirming that it does start tomorrow. Hoping for Porsche to get a W. Alright. Yeah, you know, Porsche's a pretty solid brand. But anyways, we have our drivers. Just gonna ask if everybody's ready. And then we're gonna go ahead and begin with qualifying for Fuji. This is gonna be a spicy one, ladies and gentlemen. Fuji is such a track. Well, yeah, no kidding, it's such a track. It is such a good track for racing. Gonna be some great overtakes for certain. And some dicey moments going into turn 1. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for qualifying here at Fuji. We didn't have to wait long at all. And it is go time for Fuji. Good luck, everybody. And let's have fun. Keep it clean. And yeah, it is now time for qualifying. We'll go ahead and see who comes out first. And that's it. It is lights out. And qualifying is a go. As the drivers exit the pit lane, they're going to want to get their out laps done as soon as possible. Now granted, this is a shorter track to get your out laps done on. This is not like Spa. And especially with the mid-season regulation change on the post-qualifying timer, gives everybody a good chance to finish their qualifying lap, so we don't have anyone who is potentially on a really solid lap getting cut off. So I think this is going to be a really fun qualifying session. Can't wait to see who comes out on top. And yeah, just ready to see how things turn out. No lengthy delays, which is nice. And Gomez, or actually it's, I believe Gomez is going to be the first one onto a flying lap, so we'll be watching from his perspective. Now here's something to note as well. Some of these teams might be waiting for their drivers to possibly get close to them so they can kind of draft off of each other to improve their times. Now you do have full overtake when it comes to the session. Overtake is not enabled for the practice sessions. Not necessarily a regulation rule, but it's just something that Gran Turismo just does. Because even if you go into the regular time trial for Gran Turismo, overtake is disabled for the Super Formula cars, for whatever reason that may be. But it is enabled for qualifying. So the typical strat you'll see is, you'll see a driver do maybe 1 or 2 flying laps, depending on how much overtake they use. And then they go ahead and reset the pit, so they got full fuel, full tires, and full overtake, and then they hit it again. That is the strat with these Super Formula cars. We see it all the time throughout the season. It's not like the, say, like GR3 cars, where you'll want to have multiple laps going at the same time, so you can get less and less fuel. As the car gets lighter, the faster it goes. So that's a nice little quirk of these Super Formula cars. Or alternatively, as Gomez spins around, that is not a strategy. That is not a strategic decision. It's a showy decision, but not a strategic one as he returns to pits. Another thing that we have seen drivers do is they go several laps without using overtake, and then burn overtake at the last lap when their fuel load is the lightest. As B23 will be the first driver to set a time. He is on provisional pole position. Not for long, as the Norwegian driver of Lusion goes ahead and takes it. And Chan is up into P3 with a 120.8. A lot of drivers are setting pretty solid laps here. We'll see. Illusion is going out for his second lap attempt as B23 was sitting in P2, but it's an all high caliber racing front row as Whiteout takes provisional pole position. And this could work out really well for the high caliber racing team and for Whiteout because of how close that battle at the front is for the Drivers' Championship, with 1 point between Whiteout and Gomez. It is very much possible that Illusion could play as like the Valtteri Bottas to Whiteout's Hamilton and be a solid rear gunner for his teammate to potentially get both the Drivers' and Teams' Championships locked down. Whiteout and Illusion are both very, very rapid drivers. We have seen them do extraordinary things as Illusion kind of backs up the pack a bit, and he's going to go ahead and start a new flying lap for himself. And there's a car following behind him. It is Venomous Venom. J-Mac sets an improved time. He's up into P5. And we'll see if Venom sets a faster time. He does not. He does not set an improved time. Currently setting a P7. As we go on board with, let's go find Gomez. Gomez has yet to set a time. This is going to be his first representative time, so we're going to likely see him just jump straight up the order. I highly doubt that we'll see him remain in P11, but we have seen weirder things happen with Formula GT. I mean, Fuji is it is somewhat technical, but not as technical as a track, say, like Barcelona, like we had earlier in the season in Spain. As Gomez exits the last corner, he goes very wide there off the track. I wonder if he's going to get a track limits penalty. It won't affect this time, but he did lose a bit of time there as he moves up into P3 with a 1:21.7. We'll see if C-Chan has an answer for it. C-Chan, the next closest driver, he's currently 6/10 behind in P4 as he rounds up the last few corners of Fuji. J-Mac sets a new time. He's up into I think he's still in P5, which is going to be a great start for him in the IHR team. B23 will set a new time. He improved his time, but not his position. We'll see where C-Chan ends up for FR Racing. And it is an improved time, but not an improved position. We will go on board with J-Mac here as he is running through Sector 2 at the moment. Matt will set a new time as well. A lot of drivers setting new lap times. And I mean, as this qualifying session runs down, as the track gets more and more rubbered in, and as these fuel loads get lighter for some of these cars, and Whiteout set to 120.2, almost getting a sub 120, which would be insane on this track. And it's no real secret why Whiteout is considered one of the best drivers in Gran Turismo. J-Mac rounds out the final corner. We'll see where his time sits. Gomez, we'll see if he can improve his time as well. Schulte improves his time. Gomez does not. J-Mac does not. We'll go on board with Yuki, who's the next driver to set a new lap time. He's got a 1:23 on the board currently, but we'll see. He does improve his time. He's up into P3, a second and a half faster than his prior time. That's a second row start there from Yuki. Yuki is definitely keeping his form up from Formula GT, Grand Prestige League last week. Got a magnificent P2 there, and he's already improving his time. He's closing that gap to Illusion. It has been said, just in the Gran Turismo circle, that Yuki is a dark horse, and honestly, we are seeing that here today. He puts that Project Zero car up into P3, which is excellent stuff there for the Japanese driver at his home track. He wasn't feeling that lap, so he goes ahead and returns to the pits. We'll see if Gomez has an answer for it. He's 1.4 seconds off pole. We'll see if he has anything to say about it. He goes wide there again on the exit of turn 16. That has been an issue with this driver, and that's a half-second penalty to boot. That's not going to affect him this lap, but it'll affect him next lap. He will improve his time by 4/10, but does not. He's not ahead of Yuki. Yuki is still in P2 at the moment as we come down to the last minute of regulation for this qualifying session. As B23 rounds out the last corner. We're seeing a lot of drivers go wide actually here at turn 16. I wonder, I mean, it is very easy to carry too much momentum into that corner as other corners on the track. He would not improve his time. He's going to swerve a bit, try to get some heat into those tires as we'll see who we can go on board with. We'll go on board with the current pole sitter, Whiteout. We'll see if he's going to make any improvements. As Whiteout rounds the last corner of this track, Roman will set a faster time. He'll improve the time, but not the position. He'll start in P8 as Gomez improves on his time as well. Or sorry, Matt improves on his time as well. I don't know why I get the two Racing Force drivers mixed up. Matt is sitting in P9 right now as Roman sits in P7 or P8. And this is going to be the last lap as the time has run out. We will go on board. We'll go on board with Whiteout to see where his time ends up. He's currently about to set a new fastest time. This is on track to being a 1:19, which would be an insane time. So Lucian, B23, and J-Mac are done with their qualifying. They're in the pits. Now, you do have 180 seconds or about 2 minutes after the 10-minute mark to finish your qualifying lap. Something that was instated mid-season after, I believe, Spa. Just because there's a few issues with drivers being on solid laps, but the qualifying ended too soon. As Whiteout is going to round out the last few corners. We'll see where he ends up, the current pole sitter. We'll see if he can improve on his time and get that 1:19. Very elusive 1:19. Does go a bit wide on the exit of turn 16 using all the curb. He paid for the game that has all the curb, so he's going to use all the curb. He will improve his time. It's a 1:19. As we go on board with Yuki, who's about to finish his final lap. It's not quite an improvement, but it's enough to lock out the third position on this qualifying grid. And yeah, I think nobody else is on a flying lap, so we just now wait for the qualifying time to tick down. Yep, we just wait for the qualifying time to tick down. So our top three, Whiteout, Lucian, and Yuki. I wonder if I put a commentator's cursor on Gomez and C-Chan. Oh, they're both 4th and 5th currently. So, yeah, it's excellent stuff there from all the drivers. We're going to have a 5-minute break once the qualifying timer officially runs out. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Just going ahead and running through all the drivers real quick. We'll run through the qualifying standings and their times here in a moment. But a 1:19 is extremely impressive there from the American driver. As we just patiently wait for the timer to tick down. Whiteout takes another pole position, as is a surprise to probably no one, because Whiteout has been really rapid all season. As we just patiently wait for the timer to expire. And that is the timer run out. We will go ahead and get started at 13:20. So we'll go ahead and pull up the qualifying positions again. We have Whiteout, Lucian, Yuki, Gomez, C-Chan, B23, J-Mac, and Venomous Venom, followed by Matt, Gothboy, and Schulte. We'll be back here at 13:20, and then we'll get started with the first race here, or with round number 7 in Fuji. We'll be back, folks. Don't go anywhere. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's 1 minute to go before we start this race. In Fuji, round number 7 of 9. This is gonna be a spicy one. Got a very solid qualifying lineup here, as it is about to be go time here. Really soon. Some slight debriefing going on in the game chat between Lucian and Venom. Venom is a new driver to the league, so just Lucian giving him a bit of advice to just check your mirrors when you exit the pits, so you don't accidentally impede anyone, because that does happen, and it is very unfortunate when it does. It's an easy mistake to make, but it's also an avoidable one. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the race is starting now. Good luck, have fun everybody, and it is gonna be go time here at Fuji Speedway. 30 laps, and it is gonna be intense. Alright. The drivers are on track. It is a front row lockout for EXO High Caliber. Those turbocharged inline 4 cylinders are revving. We're about to get racing here. As we see those 5 red lights appear. And it's lights out and away we go. We are live here at Fuji Speedway, and it's an excellent launch there for Yuki. Illusion goes off to cover him off as we go into turn 1. Hopefully we don't have any turn 1 bowling incidents. As we get through turn 1, scot-free essentially. Excellent stuff there from our drivers. No real position changes yet, as actually Venomous Venom gets ahead of J-Mac there. And B23 jumps C-Chan going into turn 1. It's going to be close between the 2 high caliber racing teammates. Oh, almost a bit of contact there between Whiteout and Illusion. Good stuff there. Good job from the teammates while racing hard, but also not causing any contact, as it could really put a damper on just the race in general. Oh, Gomez is going to get past Yuki for P3, as Gomez is now up into podium position. Oh, it's 3 wide going into this corner. 4 wide, actually. A little bit of sandwiching. Venomous Venom got sandwiched in between J-Mac and B23. B23 had to go wide. C-Chan also had to go wide there. C-Chan lost quite a few positions there, as J-Mac and Venomous Venom are going to go wheel to wheel there through turn 16. J-Mac does get the better of the exchange, but did Roman have the better exit? It's going to be a long run down to turn number 1 as we go through lap 1 without any major incidents, which could not be said for Monza last time out. We'll see as Gomez and Yuki go wheel to wheel there for the last podium spot. Venomous Venom gets the move done onto J-Mac. He's also got the inside line. C-Chan makes the move onto B23 as well. And J-Mac's out the inside again. J-Mac will retake P5. And kudos to these drivers for keeping it clean. I think C-Chan might be trying for a look as well, as B23 getting really aggressive there. He's going to try to go around the outside. But Illusion is just, C-Chan is just going to have to make him go a bit wide, as there is a massive battle happening here for 5th place. C-Chan's going to make the move on the outside of Venom, and he's got it, but Venom's got the inside again. Oh, J-Mac goes a bit off track and blocks Roman a bit, and C-Chan's up at a P5. But B23 is going to make the move. He goes wide. Roman overtakes both of them. Venomous Venom is up to P5. Lots of wheel-to-wheel action here on this track, as B23 goes a bit wide on the exit of turn 15. And C-Chan. Oh, but B23 goes very wide there. He comes back on the track. I'm not sure if that was a very safe rejoin, but no contact, as J-Mac is potentially going to try to get a move done onto C-Chan. We'll go on board with the American driver from IHR, as Illusion takes the lead of this race from his teammate, going 3 wide into turn 1. This is going to get dicey. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? The answer is B23, but he goes really wide there. Wonder what happened there, as C-Chan and J-Mac move up, and Matt is looking to take a spot away. As we go back up to the front, the 2 Exo high caliber cars are putting on a show at the front. These 2 drivers are very close on race pace, as Illusion is setting purples all across the track, and he's looking to set the fastest time of this race so far to get that fastest lap point. Excellent stuff there from the pair of high caliber drivers, who have pulled away from Gomez, sitting at P3. It is a 1-2 for high caliber at the moment. And if they keep the fastest lap, then they'll achieve the most amount of points that a team could possibly get in a race weekend. As we go back to the battle for 5th place, as Venomous Venom he's got it for now, but J-Mac is going to want an answer, and C-Chan just behind him. I just wonder what happened to B23, as he's going to try to make a run-up, as his teammate is right next to him. Seeing a lot of good inter-team battles here today. And we'll see if a move will be made on his teammate. Godboy is thinking about a move onto his teammate. We'll see if he gets it done. Probably won't be too much of a contest there between teammates. And they go wheel to wheel, as B23 goes a bit wide again. And teammates once again scrapping here for P9. And Godboy is up into P9, but B23 is going to want to answer back. And right now, this race is just battle the teammates. Oh, as C-Chan and Venomous Venom are going to get into it a bit. C-Chan's got more speed around the outside. We'll see if he can make a move. He's got the inside for these up for this next corner. But Venom goes ahead and keeps his elbows out wide. Slight bit of contact there as he goes a bit onto the rumble strip as J-Mac really wants that position. He's going to be a bit late on the brakes. Venom is going to scoot by. And the move onto C-Chan from J-Mac is just not happening yet. We'll see if there's a move made between Lusion and Whiteout. They're going to be drafting each other to go ahead and just try to build that gap to Gomez, because right now, Gomez is the championship leader, and in this positioning, Whiteout will take the lead of the Drivers' Championship, and they will increase their lead for the Constructors' Champion as well. Oh, and C-Chan has made the move onto Venomous Venom at some point. Undoubtedly on that long straightaway, as the battle for P5 still continues. This has been a very good battle between these two drivers, keeping it clean for the most part. I know B23 was in the mix earlier, but he got pushed wide a few laps ago. Venom is doing very good on defense now, keeping it clean, but also being very assertive on defense. But that's not going to stop J-Mac from trying, because J-Mac is going to think about the outside. It's good to have the outside here because you can potentially line it up for a retake on the chicane, but Roman just stays ahead enough as C-Chan starts to pull away from P6 and P7. As the IHR driver of J-Mac, the sole IHR machine in the session, is going to chase down Venomous Venom for P6 in this race. Matt might want to challenge here soon, as Lusion keeps the lead for the time being from his teammate, Whiteout. Now, right now, in terms of this high caliber racing squad, it really does not matter which driver really finishes in what position in their current state. Maybe we'll see some, quote, papaya rules and have Lusion let Whiteout retake at the end, but I don't foresee that happening. Both these drivers are really even, and they're putting on a show for the lead between the two high caliber racing machines. Good on them for not taking each other out and not creating a Hamilton and Rosberg situation in Spa 2016. As we potentially look for another battle to spectate. Venomous Venom and J-Mac they're still battling for that P6 position. C-Chan is pulling away a bit, but Venomous Venom is just pulling away. Not fully though, but he is gaining a bit of ground onto J-Mac. I think these two are going to be stuck together like peanut butter and jelly for the rest of the session. As you see, B23 has gone past his teammates, and now he's going to try to go after Matt. Now we'll see if there's going to be a move here between Lusion and Whiteout. Nothing quite yet. But I mean, it's still relatively early on in the race. You're about just over a fifth of the way done with this race so far. Still got plenty of time. You still got a pit stop to make. But right now, I mean, they're just building that gap to the current championship leader, Fernando Gomez. As Lusion goes wide and comes back on track, you see a little bit of that dust from that runoff patch. As these two extra high caliber cars are just keeping it so close to each other. Trying to use that slipstream to its full advantage. As we go back, J-Mac has taken P6 away from Venomous Venom. And they got a pretty solid gap to Matt. So this could still be very well be a battle on for P7 in this race here between the two. As Matt goes a little bit out wide on the grass there. As B23 is trying to chase him down to try to regain a position. Now, B23 did not have the best of race starts, but we know B23 can be rapid on his day. So we'll see if he can climb back through the field. As J-Mac is now starting to pull away from Venomous Venom here. As he might go chasing after C-Chan. He will set a new personal best lap, as Lucian still has the fastest lap of this race so far. Yeah, these two high caliber machines are just pulling away from the rest of the pack. I mean, this is like best case scenario right now. If you are XO high caliber racing, this is just ideally what you want as a team. And if you're a team owner, watching your team just not cause any issues with each other, but work together to maximize the point gain that they get from this session, then they're in a really good spot, and your team principal is going to be very happy with this result. As you see, Yuki just kind of in his own zone right now, in his own lane, flourishing. Only lost one position, but his race has been pretty quiet, in other words. As J-Mac has caught up to C-Chan, and now we're going to see this battle for P5. J-Mac, we have seen him. He is a very rapid driver on his day. He was a very solid driver during the preseason and all the races he has been in so far this season. We're going to go on board with him as he goes to try to potentially make an overtake onto Lucian here. Or sorry, C-Chan. I'm not sure why I'm getting those two confused today, but we'll see if he's going to make the move. He's going to think about it and try again maybe another time. So looking at the driver standings, J-Mac is in a pretty decent spot for not having raced for every single session. He is currently battling with C-Chan right now, going for P5 in this race. We have seen these two go wheel to wheel before, and I mean, this whole midfield has just been really solid for wheel to wheel racing here. J-Mac is currently in P11. He will stay there for the time being, although if he could get ahead of Yuki, he might be able to jump him into standings, but for a driver who is on reserve and not been in place for every race this season, it is a good spot for him. As Lucian is going to be the first car into the pits. He was on the soft tire compound. He will likely switch to the medium and try to get the mediums to go the distance. Okay, he comes into the pit now. A clean pit stop, and he is out. He's behind Yuki, but ahead of C-Chan by a pretty considerable margin. And I believe we're going to probably see Whiteout make a pit stop next. Some stuff was not rendering him for the American driver at the moment, but it came back. Now, I think we're going to see Whiteout probably box this lap too, as Gomez is closing the gap ever so slightly, but just not quite enough to catch the current race leader and his main championship rival of Whiteout. We'll see if C-Chan and J-Mac are still going at it. Venomous Venom is still going to try to push to try to get back, but right now it's between C-Chan and J-Mac right now for this P5 position. And we'll see if one of them goes into the pits to try to go for an undercut. Yuki passes Gomez because Gomez will fire off into the pits. He'll be the next one to stop. He'll also be going onto the medium tires. Lucian will go ahead and assume P3 again, currently in the net race lead. As Whiteout is I think Whiteout might be on the alternate strategy. We'll do some tire checks real quick. As you see, Whiteout on racing softs as well. Yuki's on mediums. C-Chan and J-Mac are both on very worn soft tires. Venom is on pretty solid mediums. Gomez is on fresh mediums. B23 is on, he's actually probably been the easiest on his tires. Gothboy has been pretty easy on his tires. See, Matt's tires are gone. That front left soft tire is just no more. And he's going to want to get off those tires and put on a set of mediums. He made those softs go for a distance. But that front left was just... That tire wasn't even cooked. That tire was just straight up medium rare grilled. As Whiteout now flies into the pits. We'll see if Yuki will do the same. After this lap, oh no, B's gonna stick it out. He's on medium, so he can go longer, and he will inherit the race lead from Whiteout as the number 26 car pulls into the pit lane, switching to the medium tire compound, and he's gonna make those mediums go to the end of this race. Now, Fuji is not super tough on tires compared to like a Barcelona or a Spa. This track is actually very easy on your tires, so it's easier to make these soft tires go the distance. So as we see J-Mac and C-Chan go into the pits, they're going to shed their soft tires for a set of mediums, and then they'll be back out on track. As B23 is ahead of both J-Mac and C-Chan, but we'll see how long that P6 lasts for the American driver, because he is on worn mediums. So we'll see if he can, we'll see when he comes in the pit, but if he makes these tires go the distance and then switch to a set of soft tires, then B23 is in a really good spot to try to climb back to the field, and because he'll have that tire advantage. As Lucian is closing into Whiteout. Whiteout is currently net race leader once Yuki pits in. And it might not even get to that point. Whiteout might be trying to go for the overtake before the pit lane. But Yuki will actually be going onto the soft tire compound after this, because you got to run both tire compounds, and Yuki is currently on the mediums. So Yuki will be in a good spot to even fight for a podium as Whiteout sends one up the inside. He's back in the lead of this race. And it's P1 now for the American driver. He fired ahead and passed of the Project Zero driver, Yuki. And his teammate might be looking to do the same here in short time. And I mean, Yuki is not letting that gap spread too far. As Whiteout is on a fresh set of mediums compared to Yuki's used mediums. Now, during those corners, Whiteout's just gonna have so much more grip that he's gonna pull away from Yuki through this technical sector 3 here at Fuji. Oh, Venomous Venom has a half-second penalty. That's going to line him up for Gomez to retake the position, because that penalty line is on the start-finish straight. And, I mean, we'll see if he ends up coming into the pits, because he hasn't pit yet. He's going to slow down, and his car will ghost, so he won't accidentally impede Gomez in any way. Gomez having the fresher tires. Roman is trying to defend. As Gomez shoots on past, as Roman serves his penalty, and Roman's just going to take that time to go straight to the pits. We'll see if B23 is also going to make it. Actually, he already made a pit stop. So B23 is up into P6's race. Oh, he's so... Okay, I must have been looking at a different car, because he has not pit yet. He's going for the mega stint on these medium tires, and he's being pretty friendly on those medium tires. As he goes wheel to wheel with C-Chan right now for P5. He's setting a personal fastest, and they are bump drafting like this is NASCAR. Oh my goodness, we are seeing some excellent wheel to wheel racing here in Fuji. Outstanding stuff from these drivers. Excellent racing here. This mid-pack, it's always been this battle for 5th place that has been the most entertaining to watch. Right now, whether it's J-Mac and Venom, J-Mac and C-Chan, C-Chan and B23, it doesn't matter. Right now, those 5th through 7th has been a very solid battle here in this race today. It appears that B23 is really going for a massive stint here on those medium tires. He's going to have to probably pit in sooner or later if he doesn't want to lose too much time to the cars behind him, because Venom is on a fresh set of tires, and I think C-Chan is also on a fresher set of rubber than B23 is. As C-Chan on the fresher rubber is going to start pulling away ever so slightly through the more technical parts of this track. This track is more high speed than the majority of tracks on the calendar, say for maybe Monza, but you definitely want to have a good mixture of just good downforce and good grip. And the more worn those tires are, the less grip you're going to have coming out of the exits, especially with this very technical part of the track that they're approaching here in Sector 3. J-Mac is closing it slightly to B23 here. Getting a little bit better on the exits of the corners in Sector 3. So I wonder if J-Mac is going to try to go for a move on that start-finish straight. Now, something we haven't talked about a lot is overtime, or overtake. We'll actually do an overtake check on these cars here. J-Mac currently still has a good chunk of his overtake. B23 does too, so overtake has not been used a lot by these cars. And Venom hasn't used much of his overtake at all. The American driver now on a fresh set of soft tires, he's still got full overtake, or almost full overtake, at his disposal that he can use at any time. So we might see a absolute mega charge from Venomous Venom here. As J-Mac gets a move done onto P23, he's up into P6. But can he hold that position? Can J-Mac hold that position? As we change perspectives for a bit onto J-Mac's car on that rear view camera. And J-Mac is just getting better exits on these corners than B23 is. So the battle of the Americans right now for P6. As C-Chan has shot off way into the distance. But I do believe both of these cars still need to make a pit stop. Unless B23 pitted in significantly earlier than the rest and was determined just to make an extremely long medium stint. But that much, that could be the case, but I don't foresee it being the case. As J-Mac is pulling away a little bit from B23 here, as he's going to try to charge up the C-Chan, who himself is pulling away from J-Mac a bit. The FR Racing driver sitting in P5 at the moment. As Yuki is just chilling out in P3 right now. Whiteout has pulled away quite a bit from Lucian right now, so nothing much going on here at the front, just the XL High Caliber squad putting on a clinic here in Fuji. Trying to see if there's any other battles. A lot of these cars have spread apart, so there isn't any massive on-track battles going on here. So we'll go ahead and follow the race, or the championship leader currently, which is likely going to change after this race, given this position. But we're going to follow along with Gomez for a bit. We'll actually do some lap time comparisons between him and Yuki. So we will check after this lap about some lap times in between Yuki and Gomez. So 123.5 versus a 124 zip. So Gomez on that last lap was about half a second faster. Now Gomez is on newer tires than Yuki, I believe. We'll check the tires real quick. Yeah, no, Yuki has not made a pit stop yet. And Gomez is on very fresh tires. So Yuki is just trying to make this stint go as long as possible before changing to a fresh set of rubber. And we'll see where this puts Yuki, because the pit stop will definitely put him behind Gomez. And maybe right up with where C-Chan is. But he will have the freshest rubber on the track at the moment. So Yuki would be in a good spot to make a very good hard charge. Yuki has been very rapid this entire week, or for this day, I should say. And yeah, I mean, Yuki's in a pretty good spot right now. This would be his best finish of the season, sitting in P3. We'll go back and I'll pull up some standings and see what Yuki's best finish is. Actually, correction, Yuki does have a podium earlier this season from the race in Germany at the Nürburgring GP circuit. So this would be his second podium of the season and the second podium for Project Zero of the season. So this is going to pull them significantly far ahead from the IHR squad, with J-Mac being a lone car and himself sitting in P6. And they also have Schulte, who's at the back of the grid at the moment, but it is still more points towards the Project Zero team. As we approach the end of lap number 19 for Whiteout, and he will begin lap number 20 of 30 here very, very soon. He will come across the line. Will not improve his time, but he's already got the fastest lap, so it really doesn't matter. For him, he's just going to keep trying to build that gap, and Lucian is going to try to build that gap from Yuki. We'll see if Yuki finally calls it a pit stop. He does not. He is going on an extra long stint on this tire. He's going to try to make it so that his final laps on, I believe he's going to run the soft tire next. Yes, so when he goes on soft tire, he wants the hard charge. He might even try to go for fastest lap of the race. It is possible, as Yuki was close to setting a personal improvement on his lap time. We'll check the lap times now between. Oh! The two teammates almost collide. I think they might have actually collided a bit there, as Schulte tries to move out of the way for his teammate who is lapping him at the moment. And oh no, that is not what you wanted to see. We'll check and see if there's damage on Yuki's car. There isn't. Okay, I thought for a second maybe, but there is not. So there is currently no damage on that car, but that definitely caused him to lose some time a bit to Speedy Gomez behind him. We'll see if Yuki finally decides to pit in this lap, but you gotta just think about it, if you're gonna pit in too late for those soft tires to actually make a difference. He's on the mediums, and maybe, although granted, blue flag, so he will get penalized, but maybe Schulte can act as a slight buffer between Yuki and Gomez. But you can't do that too much, or else you'll get penalized under blue flag conditions. So, definitely gonna keep an eye on that one, as Gomez is closing the gap to Yuki, but not by a whole lot. Just about, well, it's about a second per lap. So it's good pace. If Yuki didn't make another pit stop, he would get it, as Venom and B23 actually fire off into the pits. We'll see what these drivers do. Venom is on another set of soft tires, and B23 is finally going to make his pit stop. And he's going to be on a set of softs as well. So both of the cars that just went into the pits are back out on soft tires. Venomous Venom has climbed up a spot to P7. Godboy's going to enter the pits now. And I know Roman already pitted, but he must have just not liked the feeling of that tire he was on. And he's going to go back out on a new set of soft tires. Same with B23, although B23 did not pit yet. Although I'm seeing a lot of pit symbols on the timing chart, but I don't believe those are accurate, as B23 is also on a new set, so we might see a battle here for P7 between Venomous Venom and B23. Yuki's finally going to make his pit stop, and now we're going to see if the Project Zero car is going to make a massive jump. He's got a fresh new set of soft tires, so we'll see where the Japanese driver ends up by the end of this race. He's got to make up 11 seconds. So lap 23 for both of these drivers will be crucial. C-Chess sets a new personal best. After fighting so hard for P5, he's got it now and basically uncontested for that spot. So excellent stuff there from the Canadian driver on behalf of FR Racing, using every bit of that curb. J-Max got a good gap away, so he's likely going to lock out P6 in this race. Unless, let me check the tires. We got to check the tires again. Oh, he's on new tires, so he'll be fine towards the end of the race. So J-Mac will likely lock out P6, unless Roman can make up a lot of time per lap. So we'll keep an eye out and see if we find any really good battles. We'll go on board with Yuki in the cockpit view of the Project Zero Super Formula car as he starts his first flying lap after the pit stop. Now this lap 23 is going to be very crucial between him and Gomez, just to see where that pace is at. And then you can kind of do a calculation depending on how much faster Yuki is compared to Gomez, or vice versa, if he's going to be able to catch him by the end of the race. You got 8 laps to go here, including the rest of this lap. So I guess more about like 7.5, but that half-second penalty is not going to do him any favors, as Gomez is setting pretty rapid sectors on his own front. Only about 2/10 slower than his fastest lap time last lap around. I mean, look at that row of 123s with only one exception with a 124 on lap 16. Consistency is key on this track. Well, in racing in general, consistency is key. As we begin lap number 24 of 37 laps to go in this race. And Whiteout, I think Whiteout's just going to run away with this one, as Yuki is about to serve his penalty on start finish straight. Yeah, Whiteout's just pulling away ever so slightly from his teammate, and his teammate is pulling away from Gomez, so this is undoubtedly a Exo high caliber 1-2, as Lucian does go a bit wide there, but it's not. I don't think it's going to give him a penalty. Maybe we'll see in a few seconds. I don't think he did not get a penalty for it. We would have seen it by now, as Gomez is going to try to make a hard charge to pull away from Yuki. Lap 23. Oh, but even then, Yuki was still a lap, or about a second slower than Gomez's time on those front softs. So I think it was just going to be a case of survival, and that he had to pit. That's the real tricky thing about pit strategies is you do it too late, you're screwed, and if you do it too soon, you're also kind of screwed. So you got to find that perfect balance, and it's tricky at times, because sometimes your pit stop might be a reactionary one because of a car in front or behind you trying to shut down an overcut or an undercut. So it is very much possible that, well, it's a 1 lap difference that can make your pit strategy really good or just fall apart. We'll see here the lap 24 comparison. Oh, 122. Now that's the time that Yuki is going to put up lap after lap. He's almost a second faster that lap compared to Fernando Gomez, as Godboy exits the pit lane. He's going to allow Yuki to run by, just so he doesn't have to deal with the blue flag shenanigans, as Yuki's on track to setting another personal best. Now, for any of these drivers that still have a lot of overtake enabled, they are going to want to push that overtake to its limit and try to get just as much to close the gap or extend the gap as much as humanly possible. as Matt has a half-second penalty for track limits that he'll have to serve on the start-finish straight. We will go ahead and just spectate a few of these other cars on the track that haven't had a lot of screen time yet today. Schulte is going to round out these corners. Hasn't been the easiest race for Schulte here today. Starting from the back of the grid and remaining there for a vast majority of this race. Not exactly the race you would like to have, but he's kept it out of a wall and he hasn't had to retire, so that's good for the Canadian driver. As we go back to the other Canadian driver, who's keeping a pretty consistent gap to both Yuki and J-Mac. Not really gaining, but not really losing time to the car behind. As we go down to 5 laps remaining, soon to be 4 laps remaining if your name is Whiteout. Whiteout on track to take the championship lead here in Formula GT Season 8. And what a dominant drive from start to finish. This has been the high caliber racing show here in Fuji today. Just absolute dominance from the high caliber racing team. Absolutely extraordinary stuff. B23 gets out of the way. He has been blue flagged. He's going to let Whiteout pass, and he's actually going to use a bit of that slipstream to maybe catch Venomous Roman, who is about 11 seconds ahead. Now, Venomous Venom, basically, he pitted in, and I think that all but guaranteed him finishing in P7, because he boxed for a brand new set of softs. He was, last time we checked, we'll check his overtake again actually. He's still got over half of his overtake, so these next few laps are going to be mega push laps from the American driver, or at least they should be mega push laps from the American driver, the sole Deadeye Racing representative. I think some of these other cars might be out, and I think, let's check J-Mac's overtake. J-Mac is almost out of overtake. He's going to burn some more of it on the straight to try to build that gap to Venomous Venom. But Venomous Venom has so much more overtake. He's still got 3/4 of his overtake remaining, and so we'll just have to keep an eye out and see if Venomous Venom can make up that gap to J-Mac, as Whiteout just goes on a casual Saturday cruise as he starts lap number 28 with 3 laps to go. Yuki is closing that gap. He's been about a second faster, over a second faster actually, every single lap, but it's just not going to be enough. He needs to pull about 2 seconds a lap on Gomez to actually retake that podium position. Yuki's going to get his second best result of the season with a P4 for the number 4 car. 1:23.7. We'll check the time again for Yuki. That's a 1:22.3, so about a second and a half faster. I just don't think it's enough. You got 3 more laps. You're going to pull about 4.5 seconds closer to Gomez if this lap time keeps up, but you really need about 2.5 seconds faster per lap. So he needs to be putting on an extra lap or extra second a lap faster onto Gomez to make that hard charge work. He's closed that gap up significantly, but there's more that needs to be done. Before I forget, I want to shout out our amazing partners for Formula GT this season. We have IHR Karting Accessories, Velocity Media, FuelCan.shop, and our newest partner, W.GG. Use promo code FormulaGT at W.GG to get yourself a nice 10% discount, and that way you can support the league, and we might have more opportunities to continue bringing you this awesome racing like you're seeing here today, here at Fuji Speedway. As the gaps are spreading out, we start the penultimate lap for Whiteout, Lusion, and soon to be Gomez. Yuki is closing that gap, but like I said, it's just not enough. As J-Mac is closing that gap to C-Champ, but now Roman's gap has increased quite a bit to J-Mac, so he won't have enough time unless J-Mac makes a catastrophic mistake. which likely won't be the case. Hopefully I didn't give J-Mac a commentator's curse. As C-Chan slows down for turn 1. He's got a pretty consistent gap. Let's actually check the time between these two. So only 0.3 of lap difference between the two, and actually on lap 28, C-Chan was faster, so C-Chan basically has locked out his position barring an accident. And this will rival, I think, C-Chan, one of C-Chan's best finishing positions of the season. And it'll be a good finish for C-Chan and the FR Racing squad, as they will continue to accumulate points and pull away from their rivals, which I believe, yeah, their closest rival is actually Sohei, and they're going to gain a good amount of points. They actually are catching up to IHR, so it'll be more points for FR Racing, so it will close the gap from FR Racing to IHR Racing. So we might see a battle for P5 in the constructors here today, as EXO High Caliber will extend their gap in the constructors. And as Whiteout will actually take the lead of the Drivers' Championship as we begin the final lap. It's only about 2 more corners before Whiteout takes it. Another dominant race win here on behalf of EXO High Caliber, and it's going to be a dominant 1-2, maximizing the point gain that IHR could have gotten. He's coming across the line now on the final straightaway of this race. Whiteout takes victory here in Fuji Speedway. A dominant show as Lucian's going to round out the last corner. He's going to go ahead and finish P2. And it's a dominant display from the EXO High Caliber Racing team. They secure the most amount of points. Gomez is going to round out his last corner. He'll finish at P3. Yuki's going to finish at P4. B23 has finished a lap down. Matt's going to finish also a lap down. And that's going to be it for the race here at Fuji. Yuki wraps up in P4. C-Chan will be in P5. J-Mac will be P6. Venomous Venom will be P7. And then B23 is P8, P9 for Matt, P10 for Gothboy, and P11 for Schulte. What a dominant display for the High Caliber squad, and what a good race for a lot of these teams up and down the grid. A little bit of a lag spike there as we go on board with the last driver to not finish his lap yet, as Venomous Roman is about to finish. He's about to finish the race. Right as the timer runs out, Venomous Venom finishes in P7, and that is everyone. A dominant display there for EXO High Caliber Racing. Your winner is that man on your screen, EXO Whiteout. He is now the championship leader with 2 rounds to go. We're going to go ahead and pull up the results once again. It is Whiteout, Lucian, Gomez, followed by Yuki, C-Chan, J-Mac, Venomous Venom, B23, Matt, Gothboy, and Schulte. That has been an excellent race, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time, 2 weeks from now, when we head to the United States of America at Watkins Glen. See you guys next time.